Where was Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ, born? She is venerated by Christians around the world as the Blessed Virgin Mary. But where Mary's story began, the Gospels do not say a word. For a long time, without really thinking much about it, I assumed that Mary was born in Nazareth, where she most likely met Joseph as a young woman. That is why it surprised me when, years ago, I learned that here in Jerusalem there are two places connected with the birth of Mary, and they are completely different worlds. First, an Orthodox place that leads deep beneath Jerusalem, then a massive Latin Crusader church from the 12th century, and from there down into a completely differently designed birthplace. I will show you both places today. We start here in front of the city wall, go through the 500 years old Lion's Gate, and straight into the Muslim part of the city, where we'll find them. Come with me. We're standing here in a Muslim cemetery in front of the Lion's Gate, and now we're walking down toward the city wall. Once we head through the gate, we're inside the old city. It's just a few steps to the Orthodox birthplace. Where was Mary born? Who were her parents? The Bible is completely silent about this. The names of her parents, Joachim and Anne, come from a completely different text from the 2nd century, the Proto-Evangelium of James. This tradition connects Mary's family closely with the temple from the very beginning. And that helps explain the Jerusalem tradition. If Mary's beginning is connected to the temple, you don't look for that beginning in distant Nazareth, but here in Jerusalem, right next to the Temple Mount. And here, right at the entrance to the Old City, both the Orthodox and Catholic churches place the home of Joachim and Anne right in this area. In front of us now stands the building of the Orthodox Church. But the church at street level is just the facade. The real core lies deeper. We're about to go down a narrow stone staircase into the underground, directly into 2,000-year-old cave chambers. Now we're going inside. Right here, to the left above the cross, it says 1907, and to the right, above the entrance to the chapel, you can see the same date again. It marks the completion of this modern upper church, but 1907 is only the surface. The older part of the story, the ancient core of this place, lies directly beneath our feet. People are praying. The many images and decorations are typical of Orthodox churches. Christ, Mary, saints, and biblical scenes are a central part of that visual language. Ahead of us now is the staircase leading down. A staircase into another time. According to Orthodox tradition, Mary's birthplace lies down there. First, the cave of her birth, and one level deeper, the living space of Joachim and Anne. The birth grotto of Mary. Low, narrow, surrounded by stone. On the floor, fragments of an early Christian mosaic, 4th or 5th century. The walls, rough stones set in mortar. a modern silver icon with Joachim, Anna, and Mary as a child. And here, the cross in the floor. For the Orthodox Church, the exact birthplace of Mary. And now, it goes even deeper. The atmosphere changes again. Down there, the walls are bare rock. An extremely narrow entrance to the next cave chamber. Again, a mosaic floor. And above it, a low, rough rock ceiling. Joachim, Anna, and Mary as a child. You cannot go any deeper at this Orthodox Marian site. And I really feel like I'm in another time now. We go back out onto the street. Right away, it's narrow and loud. The cars are still backed up in the narrow alley. We walk just a few more yards. The second tradition about Mary's birth is not somewhere else in Jerusalem. It's right next door. Two completely different places, but the same memory. Mary's birth. Could it really have happened somewhere around here? We're already there, just moments ago, underground cave chambers. Now, a 12th century Crusader church. And here too, the path leads us back underground. A few steps through the gate and the rush is gone. From the chaotic alley straight into a peaceful green oasis. Would you have expected that? This entire site is under the care of the White Fathers, a Catholic missionary society that has been active here since 1878. Behind the garden, we will soon come to the church building of St. Anne, built by the Crusaders in the 12th century. You will see in a moment, it absolutely does not look like a church, but rather like a massive medieval fortress. Thick, heavy limestone blocks and narrow windows. This defensive architecture certainly helped the building survive Jerusalem's conquests and the destruction over the centuries. But the fortress-like church is only the top layer. Under the church itself, the history goes deeper. Here are the ruins of a large 5th century Byzantine basilica, and if you go back even further, you reach a Roman sanctuary dedicated to the god Serapis. As a pilgrimage site for Mary's birth, the destination of our tour, the memory reaches very far back. Already in the 2nd century, Christians connected this area with the home of Anne and Joachim, and therefore with the cradle of Mary. Since the construction of the first church in the 5th century, This place was then ventured as her birthplace. Look at this facade. No decoration, no splendor. When you stand directly in front of it, it feels even more like a medieval fortress. And now we go to the traditional Catholic birthplace of Mary. Let's go inside. The simple, fortress-like impression from the outside continues right here inside the church. No golden altars, no Baroque splendor, just plain, bare limestone. Right here at the front stands a white marble statue. It shows St. Anne with her young daughter, Mary. Anne is holding a scroll, teaching the child. Of course, Mary was raised in the Jewish faith, and according to Jewish tradition, Anne is teaching Mary verses from the Torah right here. Have you ever seen statues or paintings like this, of Mary as a child? Before this, I'd only ever seen images of Mary as a mother holding the child Jesus. Our path to the birthplace takes us through the nave, all the way to the main altar. Everything here is completely stripped down, reduced to the absolute essentials. What do you think? Is this beauty in simplicity? Or does it feel almost too bare? Right here by the wall, a narrow, steep staircase leads down beneath the church. Once again, we're heading underground. But down here, everything feels completely different from the Orthodox grotto. Not dark and cramped. It's brighter, clean, and orderly. But even here, the original rock is still visible. The builders deliberately shaped the crypt around the natural rock and left it exposed as part of the space. The Crusader Church meets the raw rock of the ancient cave directly. Above us, the raw stone ceiling. What does this mural show us? Two scenes from Mary's childhood. Mary as a little child, then a bathing scene, and below them, her father Joachim. Now we're heading to the place where the birth of the Mother of God is remembered here. And this is it. According to Catholic tradition here in Jerusalem, the birthplace of Mary. The gate is closed, but we can still look inside. On the wall are two icons. The smaller icon shows Anne and Joachim together, holding the newborn Mary. The larger icon shows a striking scene. It shows the moment just after a birth. Anne is still lying in bed after giving birth. Joachim is seated to the right, and below, a servant is holding the newborn Mary. Beside them are the things prepared for the child after the birth. Another servant is caring for Anne. And after the Orthodox grotto, we have now seen the second Jerusalem tradition of Mary's birth, only a few yards away. The same memory, but a very different atmosphere. No dark cave, no rough underground chamber. What we see here is a quiet chapel built around the place where Mary's birth is remembered. Two very different places here in Jerusalem remember the birth of Mary. Maybe it was one of these two places. Maybe it was in Nazareth, where the Gospels show Mary at the Annunciation and where Jesus grew up. Maybe it was somewhere else entirely. We simply have no way of knowing. How important is it to you to know where Mary was born? Would you visit these two places here, though they are not historically proven? What are your thoughts on this? Feel free to write it in the comments. This ends our walk to the Jerusalem traditions of Mary's birth. Thank you for being with me. Until the next Christian place in the Holy Land.